EdTech Mondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village. Well, welcome to EdTech Mondays this month of August. It is always a delight for us to sit here and talk about EdTech in various themes all across Uganda. And this month of August, we are reflecting on the day that is celebrated, which is the International Day for the Youth. And as we continue to see what is happening everywhere, we understand, and you and I can both agree, that across Uganda and Africa, young people are not just consumers of digital technologies, but they are creators. We can attest to that. They are innovators and leaders that are shaping the future of education through various platforms. Now, as we continue to witness this new era, we want to ask ourselves the most vital question: how do we ensure that young people are actually taking charge, are in the lead? And this month of August, EdTech Mondays recognizes that we need to have this conversation, and this is exactly why we are having a youthful panel. And I just want us to dive right into it. I want them to tell us who they are, what they're doing, but also take a moment to celebrate what they're doing in terms of EdTech. So I want to start at my very far left. Kayla, I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience, tell us what you do, and when you think about the International Youth Day, what comes to mind?
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. My name is Kayla Tetsi-Lubega. I work with a company called Cyber School, and we're in partnership with MasterCard Foundation on a project called the E-Learning Initiative. And basically, we're taking e-learning into universities across the nation. And so with that, we're able to interact a lot with young people.
Well, we're looking forward to tapping into your wisdom now that you're constantly interacting with young people. Now, we also have Amanda. We're excited to have you on the panel, but even more excited to know about what you do, what you're currently doing, what you hope for the future. And when you reflect about the International Day for the Youth, what comes to mind?
Thank you for having me. My name is Amanda Biwe. I'm a young lawyer, and I'm also part of eSchools. And we are taking education to village schools like never before. What comes to mind when I think about the Youth Day, especially going from clicks to progress? I think more than anything, it reflects a lot of the situation that is in Uganda. We are going from clicks to progress, both from the policy perspective and also from the on-ground perspective. And I think that there is a lot of hope for Uganda. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Glad to have you on the panel today. Well, right here, the only gentleman on our panel this month of August, and not like we're going to hijack you, but we're excited to have you, but also to get your perspective from where you come from. When you think about International Day for the Youth, what comes to mind as we get to know who you are and reflecting on this very special day? What comes to mind?
Thank you, Sandra. I am so happy and honored to be a part of this very interesting panel. And my name is Intende Baker. I am the founder and team leader at Tech Reach Africa. For us, what we do is we run mobile computer labs. We focus on schools that don't have the financial capacity to set up computer labs, but also schools that don't have access to electricity. So what we are doing is training teachers and learners to enable them understand how they can integrate ICT technologies into their teaching and learning processes. For me, what comes to my mind when I think about the International Youth Day is an opportunity for us to reflect and recognize the efforts of the young people in terms of advancing in technology and building solutions that are technology-based to address the challenges in our communities. Yeah. Very
glad to have you on the panel, Baker. And just to give us a bit of context, now that we do have our panel speakers in check, this year's theme was celebrated under from the theme of From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. That is on the global scale. Now, bringing it closer to home, right here in Uganda, the theme was skills development for enhancement of youth opportunities. Now, if we're talking about opportunities, we are definitely also tapping into EdTech. And I want us to dive into this conversation right away and define exactly what it means to have youth engage when it comes to the context of EdTech. What does it really mean, and how does it really look like for us in Uganda? I want to start with you, Becca.
For me, I would say it means letting young people take charge in developing these solutions, but also even for partners or institutions or individuals that are building EdTech solutions, how do you involve young people by understanding what particular platforms, technology platforms work for them when it comes to involving and integrating technology in the education. what would they best learn from, or what would they best relate to? If you're building a solution, what do you need to consider as you're building these solutions? It could be in terms of access to digital tools. Will they be able to access those digital tools? Or if they don't have access to such tools, what else do you need to think about as you're building your solutions?
Very interesting that you say that. Do you, and I want to bounce off your conversation and send it to Amanda. When you look at the current trends, when it comes to how we use digital platforms, do you think as young people, we sort of appreciate how to use these tools? Would you say that?
I would not say that we entirely appreciate how to use these tools. I think that people still have a lot of gaps in how many technologies they're able to use on their phones. Apart from WhatsApp and apart from emails, a lot of people don't even know how to use certain features, certain buttons, certain parts of apps. So I think that there's a lot of gaps. I think that maybe not necessarily young people need to be trained, but I think that there is a lot to learn. The learning curve is still very steep in terms of the percentage of knowledge of technology that young people have. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Kayla, I know you've had great experience with working with the grassroots and the like. Just to, complement what they just said, when it comes to how we are adopting and using these various tools, what would you say are some of the most popular tools that you observe young people are using mostly in the current trends? Because I could say TikTok, for example, but maybe because I'm on the other side. But for someone who has been at the grassroots level, what are the various tools that are more appealing to the young people, even in the rural areas?
It's funny you mentioned TikTok, because TikTok is it's widely popular.
Yes.
Across all the spaces that we've seen young people using TikTok. They use a lot of YouTube. But I would say that, much to what Amanda said, the digital divide it's quite large. What you see in the rural areas is not what you're going to find in the urban areas. The young people in the rural areas don't really even have access to devices. They don't have access to technology. They don't really know how to engage with it. And the few that do are still lacking the basic ICT literacy skills and the basic digital skills to really engage with the tech. So like Amanda said, there's still a lot of work to be done to really educate the youth and get these young people to utilize the tech that's available, to utilize the spaces that have been created for them on the digital platforms and the EdTech platforms that have been created. But that being said, when you come to the more urban spaces in the more urban society, yes, the youth are really engaging with TikTok, they're engaging with YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Microsoft Teams. They're learning through those spaces. And we're really seeing that from our work on ground, that's a lot of the content that they really engage with the most.
Well, staying with you, would you attribute that to the lack of localized or culturally relevant content?
Yes.
Do you think that is a huge aspect in the way that they're able to appreciate or not?
I would say so. I would say that a lot of the content that we're seeing is, mostly delivered in a particular language, mostly in English.
Yes.
And so even for the EdTech platforms that are existing, even the devices that we have, the devices are programmed in English. So there's an intimidation that comes across when you go down to the really rural areas and you're trying to get young people to engage with the devices or to engage with EdTech. And they don't really feel confident to start using these technologies because, one, they don't really understand the language.
Yes.
With the work that we've been doing with the rural communities is that we've tried to translate a lot of the content, a lot of the educational content that we're getting from the schools, and we're trying to translate it into the local languages. I can give you an example of a school that we're working with in Kagadi called URDT, and this school has quite a big refugee population, so there are a lot of different languages, but the languages that resonate the most are Rutoro and Runyoro. And we saw that when we created content for them, one of the courses that they do is a tailoring course, and when it was done in English, we saw that the uptake was very, very low. When it was translated into Rutoro or Runyoro, the uptake was through the roof. And it's not just about having the students or having the young people engage with the course, it's also about seeing them get through the course and actually complete it. So engaging with them and seeing what they actually require from us, and not just telling them what we think they should do. It has also helped us increase that accessibility, increase the inclusivity, and have them engage more with the content that we're trying to create for them.
I'm glad that you actually bring out some of these examples that we are seeing, that are really working on ground. But I want us to speak more again about initiatives that have decided, let us localize the content, let us use this platform and actually approach the youth this way. And Amanda, I want to bounce this question to you. Are there some of these initiatives that you think are working so well in the way they are delivering content, and it is really reaching out to the youth, and the youth are really appreciating it?
Thank you. I'll start with our own initiative, eSchools. I think that eSchools is really revolutionizing the way that schools are going to be done going forward. Our model is like never before. We want to partner with companies and also to partner with aid agencies to give them a space to market their products, to gain visibility, and also in exchange to really help them to connect with village people. Our prototype is such that we've developed it in a detailed way. We have gone down to the villages, we have gone down to the cities, we have understood the mind of the typical teacher, the mind of the typical student, the average Ugandan student, and we have done our best to prototype in such a way that they would be able to use this app intuitively without having any questions, without feeling uncomfortable. And I think we are one of the initiatives that are really championing this. I think that the Innovation Village is also working on a lot of initiatives. There are numerous initiatives that they are working together with at the grassroots level. And I think that I like the way that they're piloting, understanding young people, they have a platform that I have seen, whose name I forget, but they're just really trying to work with young influencers and young people to understand what are their needs, what are the gaps in the market, what are some of the things that they would require out of a platform. It really comes down to hearing young people and understanding them, and not thinking for them, not making decisions for them in the boardroom. And I think that it's building some results that we're going to be able to see in the near future.
And let me do some bit of a poll question just to pass it to all our panel speakers today. And Becca, you'll be the first to respond with a yes or no. Do you think the government is actually involving young people when it comes to the development of EdTech solutions? Yes or no?
No.
Amanda, what are your thoughts?
Well,
yes or no?
No.
Kayla? No. So we are having a no from our panel speakers, but you as our viewer, what are your general thoughts? And this is why it's important for you to be part of the EdTech community. Do remember there is a QR code. All you have to do is to just scan it and you get all the nitty-gritties about what this show is all about. And there is also going to be a link. Please follow it and you'll get to know how to be part of EdTech Mondays. We want to build a community that appreciates technology when it comes to education. Very interesting that all of you said no. You did mention something about access to devices, and Becca right here is doing something very interesting in the community. And I just want you to, before we take a short break, I just want you to tell us briefly about what you do and how you are really navigating the entire process of, by the way, getting computers and taking them to the teachers and the students themselves. How does that really work? And, what are the nitty-gritties of that process?
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much for asking. So for us, we realize that we're in a digital era where we know that access to technology, the use of computers and technology is not going to be an option, but it's going to be a must, because it's going to shape the future of education. It's going to shape the future of employment. So we said that the earlier we empower the schools, the teachers, the learners with these digital skills, the better. We learned from the COVID-19 pandemic. So we thought of how would we promote access to digital literacy for learners in these rural schools, schools that don't have the financial capacity to set up computer labs, schools that don't have access to electricity. So we said, well, we can start by setting up computer labs for schools. Yeah. But then we realized it's an expensive venture. You need $10,000 for you to be able to set up a computer lab. And then that lab, access to that lab is only limited to the learners from within that school. So we brainstormed as a team and we said, well, what if we had a mobile computer lab, a lab that can be shared by 10 schools? So one computer lab being shared by maybe among 10 schools. So we decided to purchase laptops because we know they have battery. You just plug, charge, and then go train. So we have a bunch of computers. We have 2 mobile computer labs. We have one in Jinja and then one in Kapchora, and we are serving 17 schools. So each of those 17 schools know that my computer lab is going to come on Thursday. And so you at least give the opportunity to the teachers, the learners, to experience the basics of computer, like she's saying. How do you turn on a computer? Which is the keyboard? Which is the screen? Because we are not going to talk about EdTech and applications that promote access to academic information if people don't even know what a screen is or what the power button is. So we are doing those basics. So we keep moving to these schools. We offer trainings to the teachers so they can be able to understand how do these ICT tools actually promote access to academic information. Because some people, when talk about ICT, computers and technology, in our traditional communities, what they are thinking is access to maybe pornographic content, or they just want to watch movies and all that. Yes. So how do you now change the mindset of these teachers and actually help them understand that ICT promotes access to academic information? With this academic information, you're now able to improve academic outcomes, the academic excellence of the learners. So when you go to these schools, that is the idea. Train the teachers so that the next time they come, they're not telling the DEO, we need more porridge, we need more salary, but they also highlight that we need ICT structures and tools in our school.
We need more porridge, though. Very interesting that you say that. But I mean, very amazing work that you're doing on ground, but there's the issue of sustainability. How sustainable is that? And this is exactly what we'll be coming back to actually talk about right here on EdTech Mondays. But once again, would like you to be part of EdTech Mondays. Do remember to be part of the hashtag EdTech Mondays on our social media platforms, but also follow the QR code that you are seeing on the screen. Please scan it and you get all the nitty-gritties about what the show is all about. Would like you to be part of the community, and if you'd like to send us a comment, please do so. If you'd want to ask a question, please do so. There's also a link. Do go right there and send in all those comments. We are looking forward to hearing from your perspective. We'll take a short break, and EdTech Mondays will be returning shortly. EdTech Mondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village. Welcome back. Glad to know you're still watching EdTech Mondays. We had a very interesting conversation from Becca here from Tech Reach Africa, and they pick the computers from one place to the schools and ensure that the teachers and also the students get a bit of a feel of what it means to be in a computer lab. And my earlier question was, how sustainable is that? And how can, for example, other young people that are looking to, add to the effort, where do they start from? How sustainable is it in the very first place?
How sustainable is it is, you remember the last joke that I made that sometimes when DEOs, district inspectors of schools go to these schools, the things that the teachers and the head teachers highlight as needs, either we don't have enough meals, porridge and posho, then we also need salary increment. They never highlight the absence of ICT structures or tools and programs as a challenge. They don't understand what they are missing out when they're not integrating ICT in the education processes.
Because they haven't interacted with it.
Yes. So by us having the teachers involved in these programs, you're sure that the next time the district inspector comes, they're going to say, we need some ICT tools in our school because we know that it promotes access to academic information, which in turn promotes academic excellence among our learners.
How are usually the teachers you interact with, how do they appreciate this effort?
Because first of all, they don't understand anything around computer use. They don't have any digital skills. So that's why I'm saying they don't know what they're missing out. So after the first interaction with them, they're excited. You go through the different modules, the parts of a computer, the functions, what is a keyboard. And then our last module with these teachers is the Internet of Things. Now here we are looking at how do we explore, how do we access this academic information using the internet. Once they get to that module, then they realize what they are missing out. Because by using the internet to access this information, they're being able to access updated academic information. But also some of the other activities that we do in the community is that we engage the parents, the community leaders in our programs. So they understand as well what is ICT and how does it actually promote development, specifically in education, so that they now start also advocating for, not in a bad way, but they contribute to the efforts in ensuring that there is access to digital literacy in these local schools.
Very interesting, because you need to really involve the teacher if you want the young person to actively participate in something. And Kayla and Amanda, I would like to just get your perspective on the importance of really empowering a teacher so that they're better placed to empower the young person to participate or engage in EdTech. I will start with you, Amanda.
Okay. I think it even starts, I think it should start at the teacher training college level. I think that in the curriculums for teacher training colleges, they should introduce ICT. I'm not quite sure how the curriculum currently works, but I think it needs to be updated so that when a teacher goes out to become a teacher, they're also equipped with the knowledge of computers. At least let the first time they see a computer be in the teacher training college, and then let them be able to familiarize themselves with them for the length of the curriculum, and so that by the time they go back into these schools, they are aware, they know. Because we are seeing, like Becca is saying, the first time teachers are seeing computers is when they're introducing them to them. They don't know how to start a computer, they don't know how to use them. So then the question is, how is it that they're able to go through a teacher training college of the 21st century and they're not able to start computers, they're not able to. So the importance is basically the fact that teachers are where it all starts. So if teachers appreciate the value of computers, the value of Internet of Things, then they're able to very easily relay that value to their students, and they're very easily able to now, I'll give an example of where we are at eSchools. When we designed the prototype for village schools, we realized that teachers are not able to plan lessons on the laptop. So if they're not able to plan lessons on the laptop, it means that they're not able to, they themselves are still lacking that skill. They're not able to give as much value in the 21st century to their students as they possibly would. They're not able to, for example, design a PowerPoint. They're not able to go on Chrome. They're not able to go on YouTube. They're not able to get as many resources for their learners as they would. So that's already limiting the scope of learning for their learners.
Kayla, how important is it for the teacher to be empowered so that they encourage more youth participation in EdTech? How important is it really?
I think once the teacher is able to really understand the value of technology and not see it as something that's going to, inhibit them or maybe even, replace them. Exactly, because that's a very big issue that we're seeing. People think that technology is going to come in and all of a sudden we're going to lose our jobs. But actually, if you're able to harness the ability, the versatility of technology, you're actually placing yourself in a better position to even increase your chances of, getting more students to onboard onto your courses, getting more opportunities for you to even expand your own learning. So I think teachers, first of all, our first interaction with any kind of learning is through a teacher. So if a teacher is able to really embrace technology, then they're able to pour into the mind of the young person and show them how big, the world can be. When we learn from, brick and mortar, and I think COVID was a very big eye-opener for us all, that sometimes we have to be able to transition. Yeah. You have to be able to move past the brick and mortar. You have to be able to move past the papers and actually enter into the digital world. And what does the digital world really show us? It moves beyond the classroom. It moves beyond our borders. We're now looking at how can we learn across all kinds of platforms around the world. So teachers will not only find themselves being able to teach students from their classroom, you could find that they're teaching students in India. You can find that they're teaching students in Burundi. And if they're able to understand that, if they're able to understand how they can translate their own teaching materials into digital content and then deliver it to their students and then students across the nation, it's an invaluable skill. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, let's wrap up our conversation with just our hopes for the future as young people. What is the vision that, I just want you to take a moment to think about, the general way you would want to see EdTech thrive in our country. And Becca, I want to start with you. When you think about what you're currently doing, for example, what the government is doing, I understand we did say no, but there's something the government is doing. And we'd also like our young people to sort of make some reflections. There's some opportunities, existing opportunities that the government has put in place. How do we tap into those? How do we ensure that we are better placed to engage in all these platforms as we look forward to a brighter future when it comes to EdTech, a better platform for all of us?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sandra. I honestly believe that the journey to ensuring access to digital literacy and the adoption of technology in our education or employment and all these systems is multi-sectoral. Like, it's not just the government alone, but it's us, the individuals, it's the civil societies, it's the businesses. The government has done, earlier we had mentioned that there are some gaps, but I honestly think also that the government has taken steps. I know that we have the Nakawa, the Innovation Hub, ICT Innovation Hub at Nakawa, that is an open space for young people.
For young people to
yeah,
tap into.
there is a lot of computers there. The space is so clean. Every facility that you need is there at the Innovation Hub at Nakawa. And I think that is quite a good start. We are doing well in that way, giving the opportunity to innovators to come into that space and develop solutions free of charge. Those small steps will help us build to the place where we want to be, where the entire Uganda has access to digital literacy, and we are able to infuse these technologies into the work and the education that we are pursuing. Yeah.
Becca's vision, taking technology closer to the people. Now, Amanda and Kayla, as you sort of think about the vision for the future, I just want to give us some context. In 2023, the United Nations projected that Africa's population would double to over 2 billion by 2050. And this also says that the World Bank estimates that by 2100, Africa will have the world's largest workforce, of which the biggest of this will be a youthful population. Now, as we think about the future, as we sort of reflect on the various opportunities that we have today, how do a vision, or what is your vision like, Amanda, for EdTech in terms of encouraging the youth to participate fully?
My vision for EdTech would be a world in which we'll start with Uganda and Africa, and even just to build on the statistic you just gave. Also, the UNESCO has found that Africa's smartphone penetration is higher than it has ever been before, and that Africa is going to be one of the biggest markets for technologies and things of the like, and it's a budding new market. It's an unpenetrated market. So I think my vision for Africa, the future workforce, would be an Africa in which people are a Uganda in which people are familiar with technology, a Uganda in which people are aware and they use technology in their daily lives to simplify even the most the most basic tasks, like, you know, I have a robot that cleans my sitting room. I have a robot that maybe doesn't lock me out but can open my gate and close it and that kind of thing. So that by the time the Africa workforce is going to the rest of the world, is being deployed, it will be a workforce that is educated and a workforce that is empowered. So that's my vision for Africa.
Well, I'll check in on you probably in the next 10 years to see if the vision is still standing. Kayla, what are your thoughts when it comes to vision? What is your vision for EdTech, in respect to youth participation and engagement?
I think the vision for EdTech is we need to just get young people to engage with technology. And when you're able to engage with technology, it really does open the world up to you. And you're able to now understand exactly, how ideas form. It increases your creativity, it increases the innovation. I really don't want us to count young people out. Young people are here, they have such budding ideas, they have such great ideas, and it's so investing in EdTech is investing in young people, and it's investing in their future, because the future is a future of technology. It's a future that's going to be largely digitized. We're already seeing it now, and it's only going to increase. And if we have a workforce that's going to increase to the numbers that you have said, in Uganda, every year we have 1 million people, young people, graduating and not having jobs. The government only has about 400,000 jobs to offer. So there's a very big gap. How can we harness the ability for technology to increase the amount of jobs for young people? There is nothing that is stopping us from that. There is nothing that is inhibiting us from that. But if we don't make the investments now into the digital world, if we don't make the investments now into EdTech, we're going to see a young population that is transitioning into work and is not able to have jobs. And they're going to become increasingly disgruntled. And we don't want that, because, again, like I said, they're young, they're hip, they're awake to so many different things. So if we could just get their ideas, if we could invest in them, if we could invest in their future, it could definitely take us to the next level. I truly believe that.
Well, it is always indeed a pleasure having you join us here on EdTech Mondays. But like always say, we're always, as young people, we're always creating, always, budding new ideas, and I'm definitely running on to the next, and I'm excited for the new journey, but also excited for you, because, ladies and gentlemen, do allow me introduce to you the next host of EdTech Mondays. And is this the part where I clap?
Clap.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
Very happy to be handing over such a wonderful platform, a wonderful audience to you, and I have absolutely no doubt that they're going to have an amazing time with you.
It is going to be very amazing. I must mention one thing, that Sandra is such a great teacher. I've learned a lot of things in a very small space, that I'll be excited and will be glad to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, and that's a goodbye from us here. EdTech Mondays will be returning in the month of September.
My name is Sean Chimley. Thanks to the MasterCard Foundation and Innovation Village. I'm glad to be here.
EdTech Mondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village.